morning. This is Judy from Artistic Artifacts in Alexandria, Virginia, and Chris. So we're the Bopsy twins or something like that. We're here this morning on a gorgeous day in Virginia, which is quite unusual for this point in June. It's absolutely beautiful. So
it'll be actually nice for the people who are doing their
eco
dyeing today.
We have a class going on with an artist from Texas who came up to do some eco printing with us. We had a class yesterday, and Sharon and I absolutely got to play hooky from work, and look, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So we did that. Diane's teaching another class today, the beginners, and part of that is a smaller scarf. But all of this printing is absolutely just
and I think
gorgeous.
She's going to be back in the fall to teach eco printing on paper. So for our paper people,
you definitely want to do this.
Yes.
So here's some. Can you see? And then there's this. August 5th is the class. It's up. You can register now.
And for our local friends, she actually has some of her products, some of her own pieces in the warehouse. You can stop by, watch the class a little bit, and buy. Look at these.
This is just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So this would be another class, and it's eco printing on a bisque planter. Now these are very small planters that she did as a demo for us to see, but it's the idea of the bisque, and you can see how she got the color and the planters. So if you want this class, you got to email us at sales@artisticartifacts and ask for the eco printed pot, because we can just add that as a Friday or a Sunday class.
Oh, when she's in town.
When she's in town, yeah, she'll do multiple classes. So if you want to do it, please got to email us, because we have not put that one up yet. But you sign up for the paper one now. That is, I think, going to fill pretty quickly. So
yeah. I think there's people who regret after they saw yesterday's that they didn't take today's. So.
I think we actually added a few people to the class.
Yes, I saw that there was some online.
Yeah, it's really fun. And Diane is just an awesome person to spend a day with. She's very high energy, and that's coming from me, which I'm normally pretty high energy.
So another announcement is many of you know we have a Artistic Artifacts Creative Minds Facebook group where we ask people to share. I think this morning there's like 3 or 4 share on Saturdays. I think we've got posted Dudley's Blue Onion quilt, her new sample for the class she's teaching today. We actually got a sample up from one of her students from Beginning Quilting.
I know, that looked great.
And then she has her little Bernina at the end of the table.
Yep.
That was perfect.
Yep.
And then I think there's one other from somebody, we love when people come in the shop and do show and tell, and we snap a picture and share that. But you can share even if you're not coming into the shop.
Yeah, please do.
But in that group, we have a challenge each month. Our current challenge is to take one of our aprons and decorate it. So this is my work in progress.
Oh, do you want to announce who won last month?
Oh, well, and the May one was Mayflowers.
Yeah.
And Barbara Hollander, one of our local customers, won that one. She's got a great piece that's going to hang outside in Blacksburg. It was a mixed media piece.
Oh, awesome.
So she's going to let us know how it survives outside.
And she won a $25 gift certificate.
So
there's a monetary advantage to being part of Artistic Artifacts Creative Minds.
So then the June one, which will go a little bit longer than June because it might take you a while to do it, is altered aprons. Hashtag altered aprons. This is one of our aprons. Judy did indigo dyeing. So she dyed mine, and I had some batik fish that I had cut out for another quilt, and they were left over, so that's going on it. And then I've got my label, so I've got some work to do, but
yeah, I think that's.
But I'm not eligible for the $25 gift certificate, so
Yeah.
We need some other
We need some more.
submissions. Yeah.
I think maybe we might see some at Jams on Sunday.
Ooh.
So Judy's Altered Minds meets at the store at 1:30. The store opens at 1 o'clock for some shopping. This is a creative group. You're throw a couple bucks in the pot, and then you're able to spend some time with like-minded creative minds. So that is this Sunday. All right, I got a couple more announcements. First, a very important one is that I have to wish my mother a happy birthday. So
Happy birthday, Mom!
Happy birthday, Mom! She's 85 yesterday and helped me start this business by bagging weird shit that she thought nobody would buy. So anyway, happy birthday, Mom. The other thing is we let the photographer go on vacation. I'm really hating it, but so we're working a little different this time. We have a stationary camera, which normally we have Kyle moving around, but he said that he could leave us. He trusted us to do the good job. So now we want you to know he's not here.
Well, and we're testing this out because on Thursday we have a live sale. So we want to make sure we're in good shape for Thursday at 7 p.m. mainly on our app, but you can watch on Facebook, but it's much better on the app.
Yeah.
And it's all about threads. So a lot of what we're showing today is kind of to give you a good idea of how we use threads and what you might find. So whether you're buying individual spools on a website or some kits or books or whatever on our comments sold.
We're pulling our favorites.
Yes.
Pulling our favorites. So that's what we're doing. Okay, and one more. I will be at Bernina University at the end of the month. So that's the last week in June. They are launching a new machine. And Tuesday, I will be doing a live. I don't know exactly what time. It'll be afternoon for Eastern because I'll be in Texas, and that's 1 or 2 hours difference. So 1 hour. All right. So anyway, so the last week in June, I am going to do some pop-up lives from Bernina University showing you what the new products are, the new machine, which sounds very exciting.
And we don't know what it is yet.
It's 7. I think it's in a 7. They keep saying it's a new 7, so that's a really good thing. And then in July, we're going to actually have an open house where you get to come and see all these fabulous things that happened at Bernina University. Okay, I think that's all of them.
Okay.
All right.
So today we're going to talk about threads. And when Judy and I decided to do this, one, it's kind of a preview of for our live sale, but the other is that Judy and I approach our hand stitching and our choice of threads in different ways. So we thought that we would talk about why we do it, how we do it, show you samples, and we're going to talk about the different kinds of threads. So we're going to talk about pearl cottons. We're going to talk a little bit about Sashiko, which really falls into the same category, same size as the pearl cottons.
It has a different finish. It's spun differently.
But then we're going to get into the decorative threads, which is the painter's threads, and how to use those. So let's talk.
Okay. Where do we want to start?
We're starting with pearl cottons.
Pearl cottons. Okay. So this pearl, if we're going to kind of show you, we'll have to move things in front of you. So pearl traditionally comes in different sizes. It has it's going to have a shiny finish. So because it's usually a mercerized, it is a ply. So what that means is it's multiple threads that have been spun together to create the size that we want. So 12 is going to be very small. 3 is going to be a little bit larger. So the sizes for painter's threads are going to be 3, 5, 8, 12. So there's 4 different sizes, and so like with I'm doing a French knot, because I like my French knots big, I'm going to use a size 3. If I want a little bit fainter impact of the thread, I'm going to use a smaller thread, which is probably going to be 12.
So the numbers are opposite. Go ahead.
numbers are opposite to what you think. I'm sure a man came up with this. I know. But yes, so the 3 is a larger one and a 12 is a smaller one. And did you know you can run a 12 through your machine? You can run it through the top of your machine, a size 12 thread. We could take this spool. I guess maybe we should try it before we say that.
But you should. We
We
use
did.
12,
Yeah, 12,
which we've
right.
got 12 to show
12,
later.
you could put this on top of your Bernina and run it through your needle, do elongated stitch, and you're going to, oh man.
And what
that's
size
gonna be
needle?
awesome. A 100 machine needle.
And what do you put in your bobbin if you're using a 12?
A 50 weight.
Okay.
Probably cotton 50. Yeah.
So the difference in, this is the painter's thread that she just showed.
And as you can see, this is all one artist. It's named, there's multiple colors, but this is all one artist that's available, hand-dyed threads.
And what's nice about these and why I like the painter's threads a lot is every stitch is going to come out a different color. They're, the variegation is spotted and shorter, whereas the variegation, and this is the eleganza. This is a much longer. Okay, that's a longer. And actually what I'll show you is this piece. So this piece, this is the eleganza. This is the eleganza. So the colorways are a longer run. And in the background, I used a painter's thread because I just really wanted subtle changes in the color rather than the longer. So when I choose my threads, I'm choosing based on color. And you're looking at it for texture.
Size.
Size.
Yes. Impact. Chris has been known to take a skein of painter's thread and cut the color out of it that she wants. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the skein or not. So this is a piece that is a this is a batik panel by Mahiyar, and what I wanted to do was accent the painting. So I'm using probably in size 8 in here, and you can see my color and my size. These smaller French knots, which were obviously not with a size 3, were echoing the batik dotting of the white that's in here, so I followed that. But this was strictly to enhance the panel and not create its own pattern, but bring it attention to the faces was really more of what it was. And this is an eleganza WonderFil 8 thread.
In your book?
Okay. This is a class that I did for the Creative Summit, not this specific book, but a size of the book. The idea was to use the block prints to create a pattern.
So either back up to get both pages or come forward and get one page.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are block prints. I used them, and then I used threads of different colors. You can see this one, I'm going to come in a little bit closer, that I actually had some really thin, I used spaghetti that's in there.
Which is a 12 weight.
Which is a 12 weight machine thread mostly, but I used it for hand stitching, and it gave a different type of texture. So,
and this is mostly
hand.
And it's mostly eleganza.
Yes, yes. This is on the machine. This is more. So you can see can you see the depth of it? It's kind of the thread as the depth. It's hard to see. Okay, and then there's this one. Cowrie. It's all French knots and stuff. This is couched by hand. Yeah, the hand dyed. and hand stitch
Actually, I
your
think this is eleganza.
eleganza. Yeah. Is it an 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I used it in the book. So there's different textures and things there. Let's see. Where else? Where are we next?
Well, one of the other things that we learned is you can use eleganza or Sashiko threads kind of interchangeably. So
And
these are our Sashiko threads. They're Cosmos by Lycian. They come in some solid colors. They come in some little bit of muted colors, and then they come in a variegated.
And they're a matte finish.
And so it's the same size is about a 5 pearl, but you can use it interchangeably.
Yeah. So here's a bag that Chris did.
So
Very
this is
nice.
one of our Sashiko panels, and this is doing that using that denim thread that I just showed. This is the same pattern, the same stitch cloth, but this is done with eleganza. And I chose eleganza to go with the colors of the fabric that I knew I wanted to frame it in. So the Sashiko, when you're doing Sashiko stitching, it's a type of stitching. There's a Sashiko thread with a matte finish, but that doesn't mean you have to do your Sashiko with Sashiko thread. You can use the eleganza.
So here's a few more. Chris's here, show that.
And then again, this is one that's in progress where I'm using Sashiko thread. I'm using just the white, the basic Sashiko thread. It has a matte finish. It has a matte finish, and it looks, I mean, it really pops on the blue. But then this is on the blue, and this is using eleganza. So I wanted, again, I'm a color person. So I used some of the variegated eleganza threads that I had gotten in one of those 12 packs and chose the different colors to do the Sashiko. So again, you can pick and choose, but I would use a 5 or an 8 weight of eleganza in my Sashiko if I chose to do color.
So when Chris is saying the eleganza pack, this is the pack. So what this is a smaller amount of yardage than on a spool, but it gives you a wide variety, and we have multiple packs, and they're lots and lots of fun. So, and you did a Sashiko variegated one a while ago. Maybe that's on a previous.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So that was fun with that. But when she's talking about the pack, this is what it is. And it's a great place to start, too. If you don't have a lot of thread, these multi-packs give you a lot of variety. If you figure out what you like.
The size 8 is a really good size to stitch with.
Yeah. So there's variegated, and then there is solids that we have too.
And she's pulling these out of our new indigo totes. Tool tote. It's got lots of stuff, the room inside for your projects.
And 2 little containers inside.
It's got containers that actually work nice in your studio if that's what you want, but it's also a great project bag to carry.
We had those made in India for us. They're specific to our business. Okay, the other item that coordinates with the tool tote is that this is a way of thread organization. You can use it by project, but it coordinates very nicely with that wonderful indigo, but then you can sort your threads. So Chris may be by color, I might be by size and type. Any way you want to do it is in these bags, and you can then, this is on the website, and you have a little handle. And again, this is something that you can only find at Artistic Artifacts.
Chris, it's time for you to talk about your vest, because
Okay.
Okay.
So the vest I have on today is one of the, I'm getting directions from the producer in the background. So this is one of the vests that it's a Kantha vest that we had imported from our friends in India that Judy has worked with on a number of our garments that we have in the shop. We've got a shipment of the vest in a couple weeks ago, and we have 3 different indigo patterns, and then we have these Kantha quilt patterns. They're all Kantha stitched. The sizing, we've actually measured the vest and put sizing so you can select what you want. This one is a large, and I wear a size 10 or a medium top. So this is a large vest, and this one I could button. The other one I would actually leave open. So there are a little bit of size. They're handmade, so that's you have to deal with that.
So this is an indigo one that we have, and when I use these, I buy an extra large, and so we have 3, and these are all online.
And these are
thinner than
these are thinner. These are just the cotton, whereas this is actually like it's a quilted.
Yeah. So there's 3 different indigos. I kind of like indigo. It's really, there's lots of them that you like. So those are great fun. We're helping again a woman grow a business in India, which I think is just really important.
So now we get to go on to the fun threads.
Painter's threads.
Well, painter's threads, Judy showed you the pearl cotton painter's threads, but we've got
lots of different
lots of different threads, and that's the thing with the threads. They really are decorative threads. Yeah. They have, we'll show you all the ones they have.
Do we want to move it up and try to tilt it? Okay, we're going to try some experiments here. All right, are everybody ready for an experiment? Okay. So, Chris, show us the painter's threads.
So I've laid out the colorways. This is all Van Gogh of painter's threads. And in addition to the
pearls
that we showed, there's GIMP.
Yes, GIMP is cool. I'm going to show you GIMP soon.
There's silk. And this is stranded, so you can pull it apart if you want, but you could also, it's a nice size. There's 2 different braided metallics, 2 different size.
4 and 8.
There is a braided cotton that makes really nice French knots and flowers.
You pull it and then it scooches around. Shimmer,
which is different than the braided cotton.
Yeah, shimmer's a little bit larger thread, I think.
There's a crewel wool.
Yeah, very popular.
And then you like this one. You like the stranded cotton.
I do.
And again, that's a stranded cotton that you can pull apart if you want a really, really fine line in your definition. And flower thread. That's the other one.
I love that. I use the flower thread. So the flower thread is going to be a matte finish. It's not mercerized like a pearl is. So it's going to give you a different look. Yes, I like that one.
And then there is
loop.
Single loop.
I love that one.
Rickrack.
Yep.
Snail trim.
Mm-hmm.
Silk eyelash. And 2 different sizes of the silk ribbon.
So you get a lot of variety. So within the collection, they have it named by artists that's similar, but they're not always the same because they are hand dyed. And then within the whole collection of 38 different colors, something like that, all these colors work together. So
and we'll show you some examples. And this is one where this was I took it that Zen stitching last year, and we were learning how to do the buttonhole stitch. So this is actually the buttonhole stitch with, it's all buttonhole stitch and some straight stitch, but with different weights of thread. And it's also, look at this.
Oh, that is so nice. This is definitely.
This is needlepoint.
And look at how that variegated thread works, hand dyed.
And when we're using these, we go with our chenille needles, the tulip chenille needles. And I would recommend this multi-pack because you've got different weights of threads.
Yeah,
so you're going to use those. Yeah. And I also have gotten to where this is the Cave threader, and it has a light on it.
Oh.
Actually, Jen says she uses this with her machine to thread her machine.
Oh, okay.
If you don't have an automatic threader.
I'm a threader. Okay, so we're going to have a problem with the stand situation, I think.
Huh?
We're going to have to try something different with the stand thing because I just want to get closer. So now I'm holding the camera like Kyle does.
Oh,
so,
okay.
All right. Okay, now what do we you want me to show them what I did?
Yes.
Okay.
How about if we just take it?
Well, go ahead and stand it up because I can.
Okay.
Now I can hold up stuff. Okay. So these pieces I've been working on for a while, and this is a hand crocheted piece that is an eagle on it. So I hand dyed it, and unfortunately, you lost the eagle once the hand dyeing was. And I was showing it to Chris, and she's like, "Well, how did you dye that shape?" And I'm like, "No, it's all cross stitch." So I cross stitched around it with painter's thread, and I used pearl. I used some different colors because I wanted a little bit of pop, and I cross stitched all the way across.
And it looks like you used probably about maybe a 3. Not a 3,
No,
a 5.
A 5. Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably a 5.
Because you've got texture in there.
Yeah. So that was a way of highlighting and finding my eagle again. So there's that one. Then I also did some Zen stitching, and this is my buttonhole piece. Now we have this fabulous linen that is gonna just pop that in there right there in a minute. And that is my back. So the painter's threads also did linens. And I used that as my backing. Here is my buttonhole stitch. Here's gimp. This is a French knot with gimp.
I don't know how you got it through a needle.
Well, very little of it got through the needle, but enough to manipulate it. And see, you can see the colors that I chose here in these buttonholes. This is single loop. I felt it needed something else. I took some hand-dyed lace and wove it through my buttonhole here. This is braided because I wanted some shimmer. And then this is more buttonhole. This evolved. It was supposed to be a little bit different, but I guess just kept going. And so it's kind of the houses at the beach with the shells and all of the coral and things at the bottom. It became its own piece. And Chris.
Okay. So this is a piece that I just finished. And this is a Denise Burkett fabric from her last collection. And I have done, actually, when Judy showed, so this is how I go. So I pick all the threads and all the colors and whatever, and that was this
How
piece.
you organize that, yeah.
So these pieces are actually vintage lace that Judy's hand dyed. But I have used the silk ribbon. I've used the eyelash. I've used the 3. I've used the single loops and wrapped it around and did French knots with probably a 12 weight. Lots of just a little hand stitching with probably an 8. And then I use sari silk ribbon along the edge and hand stitch that with that looks like probably a 12.
Yeah, look at it's nicely finished. It's cool, very cool.
Sharon Wilcox is asking if you use a hoop when you do your hand work.
I do not.
Use a thin batting.
I do not use a hoop. Neither one of us use a hoop. I do not use the batting. I either use a piece of felt or a piece of flannel. So it gives a little bit of weight, but you don't want to use a batting because it's going to beard. So when you're doing your hand stitching, you're going to get little bits of threads from the batting.
And if you use flannel, wash it first because it will shrink if you steam it. Ask me how I know. So definitely, I know. They can hear me though. Flannel, yeah, definitely flannel, have to wash it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what that last piece was, on a piece of flannel. And actually, I had a little bit of challenge because I was like, okay, now how do I finish the edge?
Yeah.
But the ideas come to you as you work on it. So
Show them this one. This is beautiful.
So this piece is actually, this was a round robin challenge.
For Christine's new book?
For Christine Brown's new book, Creative Embroidery. And
Which we have in stock.
Diane Herbert, who many of you know, actually invited me and Nancy Cars to be part of the challenge. And what we did was we each made our 10 or 11 inch block, picked our threads and embellishments, ephemera, and got it started and then passed it on. So mine was, I used some overdyed kimono fabric from Laura Murray, and then I had a piece of rust dyed, this little vintage piece of lace. I had gimp in my bag, I had silk ribbon, I had had the single loop, and I had various weights of threads. So, and these beads that Judy had made years and years and years ago, and the buttons from Nancy Yonahiro. I was just gobsmacked when it came back to me what the others had done. But again, it's using the decorative threads. It's crazy quilt.
You're swinging your hand in front of
It's a crazy quilt, and it's actually the Wonky Log Cabin. I used the Wonky Log Cabin creative grids that Jean Ann Wright had designed. So a really fun way to do it.
All right.
And this is another example of the even weave.
Yep.
This is the background is the even weave. And this is actually this is tap on a piece of silk. So it's transfer artist paper. And then I've used the eyelash, and I used various painter's threads in small sizes and metallics to decorate the batik.
Yep. Probably have time for one more.
Okay.
Show them this one.
Okay.
That one, I love that one. I'll hold it. You talk.
Okay. So this is another piece where I've actually printed on a piece of organza. It was a photo that I manipulated in watercolor app from the Smithsonian Garden. And it's all thread painted with painter's threads. So there are all different weights and colors. And I'm really just thread painting using various stitches. And the stitches I used were from this hand embroidery dictionary by Kristen Brown that we also carry.
I want to show you. Let's talk a little bit about some of the books quickly. So this is Modern Hand Stitching. This book was published. Ruth Chandler is an artist friend of ours, and we highly, highly recommend that everybody have this one in their library. This is a new one that's talking about books and some hand stitching that were really nice. And so to go back to the Modern Hand Stitching book, this is a sample of a book that you can do, that Ruth leads you through in her book about trying different stitches and taking them beyond the stitch.
And I can tell you that for our Comments Sold on Thursday, we have put a kit together with the Osnaburg, the trims, the ribbons, the book. All you need to do is select the threads, but we have put a kit together, and that will be on the Comments Sold. We do not have the kit on our website.
Only on the Comments Sold.
But it is using Osnaburg, and she gives you the instructions in the book. But hers is a Bible.
Yeah, it's a must. These are new from Sue Spargo. Chirp, we have that one. This is the creative embroidery that Chris was talking about with the round robin by Kristen Brown. Joyful Stitches. So we definitely have hand stitching. And then this is really great. Crazy Quilters are, to me, the first art quilts that were available and all the hand stitching that was there. And then this one is a brand new one to us. And I think that a lot of the upcycle, taking the existing clothing and working it is really quite nice. And she gives you some guidelines for that.
And I think the final thread that we wanted to show, well, there's two.
Yeah.
One is, we've got mixed media artists, so this one was a good. So because we do have people who do paper as well as fabric, this one is a piece from, actually that's from the class with Cass Holmes, but I have used paper. This is that brown paper packing, but it's a wood block, it's hand dyed, but then I've used the painter's threads to embellish it. So again, they're called painter's threads because of the names of the painters,
right?
But you can paint with them. That's really the fun part of it. And the final two threads, not to give any of them short shrift, is Spaghetti.
Yep, and Spaghetti is a size 12, so you can buy it by the spool, or this is a mixed pack. Okay.
And this one actually is a piece where I've used the spaghetti for both hand quilting and machine quilting. So again, lots of hand stitching, but I've also done some machine stitching.
Size 12. It's really pretty versatile.
And then the very last would be the Invisifil. So we have people who are doing a paper piecing, the hand paper piecing, and you're using Invisifil to sew your hexes or your whatever together, and it's 100 weight. It's invisible.
Yep. And it comes in a multi-packs, very, very thin. All right, we got a store full of people. We need to get going. We got a couple classes running today. So that will just give you a taste. Join us for our Comments Sold on Thursday at 7. And then, of course, we'll peruse some questions and things afterwards later in the day. So keep on watching. You'll find this recorded on our YouTube channel, Artistic Artifacts. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a creative day.